I appreciate you making the effort to be on the show this morning.
Anything for you, Mark. You know that.
See, in all this time, I thought it was because of me, Mark. Now I'm starting to realize that we get these people on because of you.
Well, you know, charm and charisma, baby. Charm and charisma.
Hey, truth be told, I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for Mark Henry.
Well, man, I appreciate that.
Well, explain.
Well, my previous background, I traveled around the world doing strongman competitions, doing the Arnold Classic, World's Strongest Man, North America Strongest Man and stuff, and that's the first time I'd met Mark back in 2010. It was the first year I competed at the Arnold Classic as an amateur, and went up to introduce myself to Mark because I'd always been a big fan of him in the WWE and then the stuff that he had done in the strength world and stuff, and we kind of just sparked off a friendship from there, and he pretty much turned WWE's eyes on to me through the strongman career that I was having and stuff, and lo and behold, here we are today talking on your show.
I felt like a dream smasher. I was like, Braun, listen, man. Well, it wasn't Braun back then, but you know the story.
Yeah.
I said, I know you're passionate about being the world's strongest man, and I'm not going to tell you to stop, but I want you to wrestle. I think that you can do it. You have the personality and the aptitude. You're athletic. You could do this. And he's a big-ass dude. He is humongous. When you see him on TV, and he's big. Yeah. But in person, if you're a normal 6'1", 200-pound guy, you're gonna look like a child next to him. And, and that's a big man. I'm just saying he's huge. And I thought that maybe I could get him to sway. And he was like, you know what, Mark, I want to be champion, and I'm going to keep working. And if it's in the cards for me down the road, then I appreciate the opportunity. He lifted a couple more years, and then one day I got that call. Hey, you still think you can get me in wrestling? Hell yeah! Let me call Vince McMahon right now. Vince called me and said, "Hey, put him on a plane, get him down there to Tampa." And he went down there and did really well and got injured. And I was really, really happy when people say, "Hey, man, that big dude you got down there, he's really doing good." And I was like, wow. And here we are.
Yeah, man, it's a fairy tale to me still, man.
And I'm not taking credit for your work. Your work is what got you to this point. It wasn't, I just opened the door. It takes a lot of hard work to do what we do in this business. And Brian, can you tell me, like, one of the things that you learned the most down in Orlando and Tampa that helped you get to this point?
Probably the biggest thing was just finding out, like, per se, Braun, like figuring out how to get to relate to the people and having the character development. That's been the craziest thing, like, is getting to play something that I'm not per se in real life. I mean, I have mean streaks, don't get me wrong, but for the most, man, I'm a fun, loving, easygoing guy that just wants to have fun and make people laugh and stuff. So it was finding that niche of being able to play Adam, but use Adam's strengths and Adam's weaknesses to turn into Braun. And I think I've done a pretty good job of meshing the character together, and man, and just like the things I learned down there in developmental is like probably the biggest thing that I learned is like I can do damn near everything guys 200 pounds lighter than me could do, and it's just
but why?
That I don't. Yeah, that's what I was getting. It's why.
There's no reason for you to do what a smaller man can do, because a smaller man can't do what you can do as a big guy. So,
yep. And that's without a doubt the biggest thing I learned was, because that was forever. I was banged up and injured a lot when I was in developmental, and that's because I was out there trying to work like a 180-pound luchador, running around, flying around, climbing up the top rope and all this and that, just because I was young, rambunctious, and excited to learn. I mean, it was a new avenue for me, and I took wrestling the same way I've taken everything I've done in life, and it's that I want to be the best that there is at it, or I don't want to do it at all. So it's put my nose to the grindstone and go, and I thought that's what I needed to be doing. And it took a couple of injuries to learn, like, hey, you're a ground-based athlete. You're 380 pounds. You're right now about 360, but I bounce you at 360 to 380, depending on what I eat that day. And people come to see that. They don't come to see me do flips and flops and this and that. They come to see a larger-than-life character like Mark himself. Like, what put WWE on the map are these larger-than-life human beings that Vince McMahon has been able to find around the world that shock and awe people, because you don't see human beings like that walking around on the street. Like, taking myself, for example, Mark, Big Show, these guys like this, it doesn't matter what's going on, where we're at. When we walk into the room, we steal all the attention because people go, oh my God, look at this human being. Like, I've never seen anything like that before. And then, so, it's been an unbelievable rise to where I am and like what I've been able to do in, I feel like, a short period of time.
Is there anything that you would change?
Anything
besides dating that one girl? Everybody had that story. I wish I had done that.
Everybody has that story. Not everybody marries them like I did, but everybody has a story like that.
Easy, killer. I'm trying to protect you here.
Yeah, the one thing if I could go back and do it all over again, is just at the beginning being a little bit smarter with protecting myself and, per se, my brand, of being a big man and not letting people talk me into doing, like, per se, dumb things that I shouldn't be doing, because
per se,
some injuries and one injury in particular that was really, really close to ending my career. I ruptured a disc in my back, and it cut into my sciatic nerve, and it paralyzed my left leg.
Wow.
But the folks with WWE, I mean, they take such great care of us and stuff with the injuries and everything, and making sure we're running at peak performance. Sent me to Pittsburgh to one of the head neurosurgeons in the country, and they got in there, and I had to be pushed through the airport to the plane and through the hospital in a wheelchair. My left leg was 100% paralyzed. I could not use it. Went in and had surgery. An hour and a half after I came out of anesthesia, I stood up and walked to my recovery room. So, man, it's just, the man upstairs just looked out for me throughout the times and stuff like that. And then having peers and stuff like that with the veterans like Mark and Big Show and these guys, the big men that have paved the road for where I'm going now and taken me under their wing and teaching me the things to do and the things not to do. It's just, I couldn't have been put in a better position with everything. Like, I feel like I've hit the wrestling lottery, It's just one good thing after another. That's just, I've been in the right place at the right time. And that's just life in general, So with this company too, they give you so many opportunities, and it's, they give everyone opportunities, and they're looking for people that are going to go out and grab that proverbial brass ring, and just get it done. And I love that. I love competition. I'm a really sore loser, and I know in this is the per se the losing this and that, but when, in my opinion, the losing is when I mess up a spot or do something like that. I'm really, really hard on myself, and it pisses me off because I want to be perfect. I want to be the best there is to do this, or I don't want to do it.
Braun, and Mark has talked about this on our show a lot, when somebody new to the main roster is in that locker room, what did you do when you first went to that locker room? Did you make your presence felt? Were you like a sponge in that locker room? What were you like when you first came to the main roster?
Without a doubt, a sponge. I'm still a sponge. I learn something every time I get around the boys. I get a chance to go out and work. I learn something new. That's what's so awesome about this industry, is like, it's always evolving, and so you got to keep up with the pace. And that's what the back to the Mark and Big Show and the guys taking me under the wing. Kane the forefathers of the big man of the business and things. And it's just, just sit down. Like a big aspect in this is shut your mouth and open your ears, because these guys have done everything. Mark and these guys have done everything there is to do in this industry. And you'd be a fool not to sit down and just pick their brains and just listen to what they have to say, because it's a wealth of knowledge, and why waste an opportunity to learn something to help your career further.
And Braun, like a lot of that credit should go to you. I hope you accept it, because you're the one that put the work in, and I look forward always having conversations with you. We got a lot in common. We both like guns and hunting and shooting, and I look at your Instagram page here, and it shows you hunting boar, and I mean, I'm hoping that you use the gun and not a switch.
The recent picture that I put, I actually went out with some guys and tried something new. We caught them alive and tied them up and then relocated them. So that was an interesting adventure, to say the least, trying to grab a 275-pound wild animal that does not want to be grabbed.
Well, I tell you what, man, like you're making your presence felt on Raw and all of the pay-per-views, and I'm proud, like a dad, but also like a giggly fan. Last night when I saw you grab that cello and play it like a guitar, I told my wife, I said, I laughed so loud like a little kid that I know the people next to me were like, what in the hell is going on over there? Like,
I'm not gonna lie. Inside of my body, I was doing the same thing. It was a very fun segment, and it was tough to keep it straight for the some part, because with the bass deal, the strings breaking on it, that was an accident and everything, and I just had to play it up to the whole deal. So, man, that's what I love about this. Like, with our boss, with Vince and stuff, his mind and creativity I've never seen anyone like it, and it's just, we've continued and continued. Like, I'm over the last year of all the different crazy stunts and things that we've done, and it's just like, I think to myself, I'm like, what are we going to be able to do? How am I going to top this and that? And it's just, it never fails. He thinks of something and goes out, and it just hits a home run with the crowd every time. And it's just, that's like just my being lucky, being in the right place at the right time. I don't know if that's what it is or what, but I'm enjoying the process, man. It's awesome, man. It's just, like I said, it's a fairy tale to me. This has happened so fast. Like, July will be 5 years that I've been with the company.
Wow.
August will be 3 years that I've actually been wrestling. So, it's still surreal to me, man. Like,
well, you create your own luck, brother. So a byproduct of your hard work and showing up and shooting your shot, though, that's what makes your luck. So, you know, all kudos to you for putting that work in. And one of the reasons why I knew you would work is the fact that your aptitude for learning. And when I talked to you, you didn't talk, you just listen. And a lot of people, they want to be heard. And you know, I suffered from that syndrome. Like, look at me. But you were one of those that actually sat back in the cut and listened and learned. And a lot of guys are going to be able to learn from you one day. So you keep doing your thing. Let's talk. Let's move along, man, and see what it is that you want to accomplish in the business. But more than that, what do you want to accomplish in the Elimination Chamber?
Well, as far as the Elimination Chamber, this all falls to what I want to accomplish. I want to headline WrestleMania. That's a bucket list. That's not even a bucket list. That's the thing I'm going to do. And I have an unbelievable opportunity coming up here in a couple of weeks in Las Vegas to go in with some very talented men. And it's going to be a war. And don't be surprised if you see the monster come out on top and go straight for the beast at WrestleMania, because I don't think there's anyone more than me that wants to knock him off his throne and take that title from him.
Well, I tell you what, that was very obvious at the Royal Rumble. A lot of the fans, I'm sure, right now are probably trying to light up the phones to call in just so they can say something about you and Brock touching. It looked like lightning striking every time y'all touched, and we bigged it up on this show.
It
the
took a
day
shot.
after.
It took a solid shot, and it was the shot heard around the world.
Well, like I said, I've talked to a couple people about it. We're two larger-than-life human beings going out there to establish dominance, and people come to see a fight, and that's what we give them.
Y'all damn sure did. Y'all gave him one. I'll tell you right now, if I ever came back, which I don't have any thoughts of, I'm gonna tell you right now, no thank you. Please, God, don't hit me like that. Please, never. I would shatter into a million pieces right now.
Yeah, it was definitely physical, but that's what I said. I mean, look at the buzz that it's created around the world and stuff like that. And you hit me, I'm going to hit you back, and that's just how it is. And that Brock's the same way. So it is what it is. And at the end of the day, I believe the fans were pretty happy and excited to see an exchange of blows per se that we were throwing in there that night.
Here with Braun Strowman, and last question from me, because listen, he just took a red eye, and see, Mark, that shows the respect that the industry has for Dave LaGreca, that the man hasn't even slept yet, but yet he calls into the show to speak to me, and I hope you appreciate that, Mark. And Braun, I appreciate you calling in, but you said that this has been a 5-year process, and all the respect of this process, but I mean, the success here has come really, really quick. I mean, right now you're must watch on Monday Night Raw each week. Everybody wants you to be that guy that's main eventing WrestleMania. I mean, are you surprised how quickly you came to the top of the ladder?
It's been a definite shock, but not to sound over cocky, confident, and this and that. That's my mindset on life. I did the same thing in Strongman when I did Strongman. I started Strongman, and literally I trained for 1 week, won my first competition. The second competition I did was North America's Strongest Man. I finished 11th in the nation, my second contest. The third contest I did was the Arnold Amateur World Championship. I finished 17th in the world in my third contest. Then I didn't lose another single contest for 2 years in the Strongman. And that's just how I am. I am so obsessive about being the best, watching film, watching myself, my matches back. I've busted my ass over the last 2 years to get into the shape that I'm in right now. I'm in probably some of the best physical shape that I've ever been in my life. I might not be as strong as I used to be, but I'm also 70 pounds lighter right now than I was when I competed in Strongman. So, that's just the thing. It's my work ethic, it's second to none. I'm up every day, eating, going to the gym, doing my best, get my rest in when I can, taking care of the maintenance on my body, just because I'm going to be a WWE Hall of Famer. And I'll shout that from the rooftop. And I'm going to do everything in my power to be, because that's something that I really, really want and would feel so honored to be able to do, is to leave a legacy of Braun Strowman that people will talk about, like Mark Henry, like Big Show, like Kane, like The Undertaker. And I'm in a position now where I'm basically the last of the dying breed. There are no more giants like us. And I want to keep that repertoire of what the guys before me have done. I want to keep paving and pushing the envelope and evolving the sport more and showing the world, in this fast-paced wrestling that it is now, with the cruiserweight guys and guys like AJ Styles and Shinsuke and Finn Balor that can go out there and do all this crazy, crazy stuff. I'm trying to bridge the gap in between the big man and that, and bring a completely new style that made people go, wow, the stuff that I do, like the one match I had with the Big Show where I did a nip up in it and stuff, people still talk about that to this day, and I hope they will for forever, because, let's be honest, how many times have you ever seen a 375-pound man do that?
Well, I tell you what, you're not seeing it at all. That's one of the reasons why we're talking to you and we're not talking to the other people. You're exceptional. You have really advanced yourself as far as taking those first steps to being a Hall of Fame caliber wrestler and a world champion. I look forward to seeing that process happen. And I'm not very jealous of much, but I am envious that I saw a photo of you with your abs out. And I mean, I'm like, man, this dude is 350 pounds with a six pack. That ain't fair.
It's been a process. I tell you what, man. Everybody talks about abs, this and that, and training. Man, they're made in the kitchen, and oh God, the clean eating is so miserable. I don't get it. I have so much respect for these guys that are so lean, like Jinder and stuff like that are just in such phenomenal shape and lean like that. Man, it's just miserable eating like that all the time. So I do it in spurts, and luckily I have very good genetics. My mother and father passed down some great genetics to me, and I've been very, very blessed with that. And I don't know. I like to say that I'm one of a kind. When the Lord made me, He broke the mold and said, "We don't need another guy like this. This is a once in a lifetime." So
you're a good son. You're gonna give the credit to your mama and daddy. Boy, so you make me proud.